It burned like fire every time I sat down, and I was too embarrassed to tell anyone. That's how my painful journey with hemorrhoids began at 72. I had never experienced anything quite like it. At first, I thought it was just a temporary irritation. Maybe something I ate. Maybe I'd strained myself gardening again. But within days, it turned into a daily torment: sharp stings during every bowel movement, a constant throbbing when I tried to rest, and a swollen lump that made walking uncomfortable. One night around 2 a.m., I found myself pacing my small living room in tears. My daughter lives in another state, and I couldn't bring myself to call her about this. I had spent a lifetime taking care of others. Now I felt helpless, alone, and too ashamed to talk about it. That's when I remembered something my late mother once told me: nature has its own medicine if you know where to look. I dug out an old home remedy notebook I'd kept from her, tucked between recipes and childhood drawings. There it was: potato poultice for painful piles. Strange, yes, but at 2 a.m., pain has a way of making you open-minded. What happened over the next 3 nights changed everything. I avoided surgery. I slept through the night, and I never looked at a potato the same way again. Let me tell you exactly what I did and why it worked. Hemorrhoids, also known as piles, are swollen veins in the rectum or anus. They're like varicose veins, but in a much more sensitive place. They can be internal inside the rectum or external under the skin around the anus. Either type can be painful, itchy, or even bleed during bowel movements. Now here's the hard truth: by the time we reach 60, our risk of developing hemorrhoids increases sharply. Why? Because aging affects digestion and blood flow. Our veins weaken, our digestion slows. And let's face it, constipation becomes more common. If you've ever strained on the toilet, sat too long, or dealt with chronic diarrhea, you've increased the pressure on your rectal veins, which can lead to this condition. Many seniors also take medications that cause constipation. Others lose mobility and spend more time sitting, another risk factor. The result: that uncomfortable, swollen feeling that's hard to talk about but impossible to ignore. The worst part is how it sneaks up on you. One day you're fine. The next, there's burning, itching, maybe even blood in the toilet bowl. It's not just uncomfortable, it's scary. But the good news: you don't have to live with it. There are gentle, natural ways to ease the pain and, in some cases, completely reverse it. Hemorrhoids aren't just physically painful, they're emotionally isolating. For many older adults, it's the kind of problem they'd rather hide than talk about. It feels embarrassing, even shameful. I've heard friends call it the unspoken misery. After all, how do you bring up swollen anal veins in casual conversation? We were raised in a generation that didn't talk about these things. We just endured them quietly. That silence, however, comes at a cost. When you don't speak up, you don't get help. You keep walking slower, sitting more gingerly, losing sleep at night, because the burning won't stop. You begin avoiding outings, car rides, long dinners. Your world shrinks, not because of your age, but because of a manageable condition no one wants to admit they have. Doctors sometimes dismiss it as common in your age, offering fiber supplements and vague advice. Friends joke uncomfortably or change the subject. And so many seniors grit their teeth and carry on silently, suffering silently, hoping it goes away on its own. But here's what I've learned: silence doesn't heal. It delays relief. The day I stopped being ashamed and tried a simple home remedy from my mother's notes was the day I started to heal. I never thought a potato would change my life, but that's exactly what happened. After weeks of discomfort, I finally remembered something tucked deep in my memory. My mother years ago used to talk about potato poultices for healing swelling. At the time, I brushed it off. But that night, exhausted, hurting, and desperate, I went to the kitchen and grabbed a potato. I peeled it, grated it finely, and mixed it with a little olive oil. The combination felt soothing just to touch. I took a clean piece of gauze, added the mixture, and gently placed it against the painful area. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't high-tech. But within minutes, the burning sensation began to fade. I slept, truly slept, for the first time in days. The next morning, the swelling had gone down. By the third night, I wasn't just coping, I was healing. The lump shrank. The sharp pain disappeared. It felt like a miracle from a root vegetable I'd cooked with for decades, but never once thought of as medicine. I kept thinking, why didn't anyone tell me this before? Why hadn't a doctor mentioned it? Why had I waited so long, too embarrassed to seek help? Sometimes healing doesn't come in a bottle or a prescription. Sometimes it comes from remembering what your mother told you long ago. Something simple, natural, and quietly powerful. For me, that was a potato and a teaspoon of olive oil. It might sound like old folklore, but there's real science behind why this simple remedy works. Potatoes are more than just comfort food. They contain compounds with natural healing properties. When grated raw potatoes release juices that are rich in starches, flavonoids, and enzymes. These components have a mild astringent effect, meaning they help tighten and soothe inflamed tissue. That's exactly what you need when hemorrhoids swell and become tender. Potatoes also act as natural anti-inflammatories. They cool the skin and reduce irritation on contact, which is why many people use raw slices to treat sunburns or puffy eyes. That same cooling relief works wonders on external hemorrhoids. Olive oil, on the other hand, is packed with antioxidants and healthy fats. It's moisturizing, antibacterial, and helps the skin stay supple. When used together, olive oil helps the potato stay in place, penetrate better, and ease friction or dryness that often makes hemorrhoids feel worse. No chemicals, no side effects, just a gentle combination that calms the burning, reduces swelling, and promotes healing, especially when used consistently over several nights. Let's walk through exactly how to make and use this remedy, whether you're dealing with external or internal hemorrhoids. It's simple, safe, and only takes a few minutes to prepare. For external hemorrhoids, take 1 medium-sized raw potato, peel it and grate it finely. Add 1 teaspoon of olive oil and mix thoroughly until you get a soft, damp paste. Cut a piece of clean gauze or soft cotton cloth, large enough to cover the area comfortably. Place a spoonful of the potato oil mixture onto the gauze. Gently apply it to the affected area while lying down or reclining. For best results, leave it on overnight. You can wear soft-fitting undergarments to hold it in place. In the morning, remove the gauze and wash the area gently with warm water and mild soap. Pat dry carefully. For internal hemorrhoids, peel a potato and cut a small, smooth piece about the size of a fingertip, shaped like a small suppository. Coat it lightly with olive oil for lubrication. Gently insert it into the rectum, ideally at bedtime. It will stay inside overnight and usually be expelled naturally during the next bowel movement. Repeat nightly for up to a week or until symptoms improve. A few important reminders: always use clean hands and clean tools. Choose organic potatoes if possible. Don't use this method if you have open wounds or heavy bleeding. See your doctor first. And always make a fresh mixture daily for hygiene and safety. While the potato and olive oil remedy worked wonders for me, I quickly learned that true healing also depends on daily habits. Hemorrhoids don't just appear out of nowhere. They often come from how we live, eat, and move. So here are the gentle, senior-friendly habits that helped speed up my recovery and keep the pain from coming back. First, drink more water. Dehydration leads to hard stools, and hard stools lead to hemorrhoids. I now aim for 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. Second, eat fiber like it's medicine. Prunes, oatmeal, apples with the skin, lentils. Fiber softens the stool and makes bathroom visits smoother. I even added ground flaxseed to my breakfast. Third, use a foot stool when on the toilet. Raising your knees into a squatting position reduces strain. It works better than I ever expected. Fourth, don't ignore the urge. Waiting lets stool harden. I've trained myself to go when nature calls. Fifth, move even gently. Even short walks help circulation and reduce pressure from sitting too long. A stroll around the yard after dinner became a cherished part of my healing. Looking back, I often ask myself, why did I wait so long to do something so simple for weeks? I suffered in silence, gritting my teeth through every meal, every trip to the bathroom, every attempt to sleep. I thought it would go away. I thought it was just a part of aging. I thought I had to endure it quietly like so many other things in life. But what I've learned is this suffering isn't a badge of honor. It doesn't prove anything, and it certainly doesn't lead to healing. If I had known earlier that a grated potato and a few drops of olive oil could calm the fire and reduce the swelling, if someone had told me that changing a few small habits could make such a huge difference, I would have saved myself weeks of pain, fear, and embarrassment. So if you're in the middle of this journey right now, hurting, unsure, and maybe too shy to speak up, I hope you take this story as a gentle nudge. There is relief. There is hope. And sometimes it starts with something as humble as a potato and the courage to care for yourself. To anyone out there quietly suffering, please hear me. You are not alone, and you do not have to endure this in silence. Getting older brings enough challenges. You've earned the right to feel comfortable in your own body. You've earned restful sleep, peaceful mornings, and the dignity of pain-free movement. Hemorrhoids may be common, but they don't have to be a permanent part of your life. Start small. Try the remedy. Drink more water. Take a short walk. Speak kindly to yourself. Healing isn't just about fixing a symptom, it's about choosing to care, to listen, to act. And if no one else has told you today, you deserve to feel well. If this story reminded you of someone you love, or if you've ever quietly dealt with this pain yourself, take a moment to share it. You never know who might be waiting in silence for the same gentle nudge that saved me.